highly sensitive people. So this is basically different exercises that you can do to force yourself to stop worrying, stop overthinking, and they are highly effective. This one is the purple flower. Okay, the purple flower is what I mentioned last time that we will be going over tonight. This is number 8, and has been adapted by a Dr. Stephen Hayes. And what this is saying is you need to force yourself to think about things so you don't think about them. Let's say the more you try to keep yourself from thinking about something only makes you focus on it more. So you need two things. You need a quiet location and a stopwatch. So are you ready? Scenario A. Close your eyes for 1 minute. Do nothing but think about the purple flower. What does it smell like? What does it look like? What shade of purple or purples is it? What does it feel like? Where are you? Are you in a garden, in a flower shop, in a field? How many other purple flowers are there? Scenario B. Repeat the exercise, but this time, do not think about the purple flower. If a purple flower comes into your mind at any point during this exercise, make sure you stop thinking about it immediately. I want you to push it away and think about something else. You can even provide yourself prompts such as, whatever you do, do not think about the purple flower, or no purple flower, or do not think about it, or things like that. Now, after you have taken those 2 minutes, okay, 1 minute for all you think about is the purple flower, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it might taste like, what color is it, where are you, like purple flower, up the yin yang for 1 full minute. Okay, that's the first exercise. The second exercise is you're gonna do everything you can not to think about it. I mean, everything. Give yourself even a cue word as to no purple flower, nope, whatever it is. When you are done, get your trusty pen out. And I want you to answer these questions. I want you to record your answers, okay, to the following questions. Number 1. In which scenario, A or B, did it feel like a struggle? Like, to think about the purple flower or not? Did you have a hard time thinking about it, or did you have a hard time yourself, not a purple flower, or whatever your keyword was. Not thinking about a purple flower. No, can't. You're gonna write that down, and you may press pause at any time. Number three. Which scenario, A or B, thinking about it or not, made you feel more uncomfortable? Go ahead and write that down. Now, since you thought about the purple flower in both scenarios anyway, ask yourself this. Would you rather think about the purple flower and be stressed, anxious, and exhausted? Or would you rather think about the purple flower and feel less anxious and retain your cognitive and emotional energy? Go ahead and write which you'd prefer. I prefer, and since I'm doing this with you, okay. Now, when I thought about A or B, B was definitely more of a struggle. I kept having to tell myself, no purple flower. That was my safe word. No purple flower. Now, which was more intense? Definitely B, because it was stressful. It was stressful not to keep my mind from thinking about that dang purple flower. I just wanted to just think about it, right? Why not? But to keep myself from thinking about it drove me batty. I couldn't wait for the minute to be over. And definitely B made me feel uncomfortable. I was very uncomfortable having to constantly tell myself, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't think about it. So yes, I would prefer to think about the purple flower and be less stressed because I'm thinking about it anyway, right? I mean, I'm literally thinking about the purple flower even if I'm not, right? So I would prefer the second scenario where I'm less stressed, less anxious, and I retain my cognitive thought and emotional energy. Like, it takes energy not to think about something, right? Because I constantly had to remind myself. When we tell ourselves not to think about the purple flower, a situation, a relationship, a day at work, an email, something, we must actually say the words, don't think about the purple flower, over and over in our heads. Do not think about a thought. We must think about it anyway. This cannot be more true. It takes twice the amount of energy to not think about something than to think about it. Number 9. I tell this to my dad all the time. You are your worst. You are your own worst enemy. I am my own worst enemy. The way we speak to and about ourselves inside our own minds can result in a significant amount of anxiety. Think about this. It is almost as if we have an evil villain with a megaphone who rents space deep within our minds. When the villain feels threatened, he picks up his megaphone and shouts judgmental and overly critical statements to us about our abilities and self-worth. So this next exercise will help you identify some of your finding self-statements and figure out what to do with them. I'm not good enough to get promoted. I need to be perfect or I'm nothing. People must think I'm dumb or I'm not that intelligent. Those are what they have in my mind, I think. I'm not. Because my ADHD, I'm not able to do something because of my ADHD, like pass a test or learn something new. So I'm gonna write that down. I also think that people think I am overly hyper, and that makes me more hyper, to be honest. People don't like me because I have too much energy. So what do? Is I ignore them, or if I go out with people, I will over talk, or because I'm so frantic and I feel like, I don't know, I just do, or I won't, if I go on a trip with people, I will immediately think they don't like me, so I will make an excuse and stay back and not go out with them. Also, I will cancel plans because I just assume that people don't like my company. So this is always triggered by social events, by friendships, by doing things that I've never done, like gone on a girls' trip. I just assume that I won't be invited back, or I should make sure I'm not because I am not good enough. Or if I have to take a test for something, I'll immediately just be like, I'm not smart enough. So it says, instead of trying to suppress them or ignore them, try using one of your diffused statements, number 30, in page 32, to create some distance between you and that thought. So if you remember in the first video, we tried to look at our problems from a perspective that was not us. What do I notice? That I find that people do like me. I do talk too much, but if I look at it from that perspective, I feel like I don't have to say anything, and I let other people just go on with their conversations and listen. This is really hard for me, as you can tell. I'm being very, very open with y'all. So I hope you take it seriously because it's very hard to deal sometimes with yourself directly, and person. I don't see somebody who's annoying or stupid or that people don't like. Maybe overly friendly and people don't know how to take me. Yes, it gives the negative statements I feel in my head less power. And this happened to me the other day when I had to deal with something. My daughter said something very interesting to me. She said to me, she goes, "Mom, it has nothing to do with you because the woman that I'm friends with had no control over it. She still loves you. She still cares about you. It has nothing to do with it." So I looked at it from that perspective, and she was right. And here, this woman texted me not even a day later and asked if I wanted to come over for Easter, me and my family. So, she was right. She was absolutely correct. So, instead of giving power to that negative statement, usually I would have said no, because I would have been afraid. That's when it boiled down to. I would have been afraid of them thinking about me in the wrong way, or all those negative statements flowing through my head. Number 10. Going down the rabbit hole. Boy, I have dug a lot of rabbit holes in my life. So, this strategy can help you identify how frequently you fall into the trap of negative thinking and find a way to pull yourself back out. So, you're going to need two things. A quiet location and a stopwatch. So, usually I'm in bed. I'll lay down in bed, and for exactly 1 minute, sit quietly and just observe my space around me. Number 2. How does my back feel against whatever I'm sitting on or laying on? How my feet feel on the floor or just in the bed. The sound of the low humming of the refrigerator in the other room. The smell of smoke from a candle. Maybe I just blew out everything that's going on around me. The taste of mint in your mouth from brushing my teeth. Number 3. Record my observations. How difficult is this for you? What part of it was most difficult? I would say the most difficult part was how I felt lying down. I never really think about it. Did some thoughts come into your mind and take you out of the present and down the rabbit hole? Absolutely. I start thinking about my dad, his stress, my mom. She just passed away 8 years ago yesterday. Things that people have said to me, this whole situation, my friend's brother dying, just a lot of things have happened in the last week. So yeah, that was the hardest part, just to focus on myself, how I was feeling at the time. So I'm gonna write all of this down. Okay, now I go down the rabbit hole a lot less than I used to, and I think that's maturity too, and learning about myself. But yes, it's hard to stay focused on my feelings about going down the rabbit hole is a very big problem for me in my life. Not so much anymore, but definitely. So, repeat this exercise 2 more times with a minute break in between. As best you can, try to track the number of times you go down the rabbit hole of your thoughts. Write the number in the space to the right. The act of tracking will also help as an anchor point to bring you back into the present moment. What that means, let's say you go down 10 times. So you want to see how this exercise is helping you not go down to the rabbit hole. Focus more and more on the things we discussed, how you're feeling, the sounds around you, the crickets, the TV in the other room, or maybe the sound of the wind, things like that, not your problems or anxiety. What was it like? Was it 8 times a second attempt? One more time, I want you to repeat it for 1 full minute, okay? But now, I want you to catch yourself drifting off in thought. Use a diffusion statement to pull yourself back on track. I always use return, or stop, or focus is really a good one, or something like that, concentrate. Stop is good because it's quick. And it brings you right back to what you're supposed to be thinking about. I find that to be very, very, very useful, even in meditation. So track as best you can how many times you used your diffusion statement. Saying something as I'm doing it again. That's why you stop, because it's so quick. Not only brings you back to the present moment, but also helps you to separate you from your thinking. So now you're going to do this over the course of a week. Monday, you can use your phone, you can use your journal. I love my journal, so it's up to you. But Monday, your first attempt, second attempt, we're going to just continue this exact same practice over and over and over again, similar to meditation, okay? I want you not to go down that rabbit hole of anxiety. You're going to keep track of here's your base point, the first 3 we did together, okay? And you can push pause, or if you want me to go back, we can do first, second, and third attempt. Let me know, and I will actually make a separate video for this, because I think this is so important. Repeat the exercise twice a day. Morning and night is fine. Using various diffusion statements like stop, don't think, keep on track. I'm doing it again. You're going down the rabbit hole, whatever you want it to be, but use different diffusing statements to see what works best. The goal is to show a gradual decrease in the times you go down that rabbit hole as you become more comfortable sitting with your uncomfortable thoughts in the present moment. Then it's so important. So, we all have uncomfortable thoughts, right? Well, this is a way to think about anything but, right? And to use a diffusion statement, it's also great in meditation. myself that we are afraid we're going to forget about it. If you write it down, guess what? It's there. You have no excuse to take that minute and not think about it. Because when you get done from your meditation practice or your exercise, it will be right there. You will have no way of forgetting about it because you wrote it down. You can put it in a drawer. You can fold it in half. I don't want you to be able to see it. That I learned a long time ago and has been a fantastic way to let my stress go. Because I know it's going to be there. What is the difference if I think about it now or tomorrow morning? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But if it's written down that way, I won't think about it. Like, I know for a fact, I feel secure. I will not forget it. It will be there. And there's something about that is so calming. So now, moving on, after a week of this practice, what do you notice? Has anything changed about how you manage your thoughts? Well, I'll tell you what. I haven't done this exact thing, but I have done the meditation where I don't think about anything. Just the sound of somebody's voice or whatever it is, and that's where I learned how to use the write down all my problems method or a countdown. And like I said in my earlier video, I'm gonna do a series of 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 10, 20, well, I'll do 15, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, do a minute or an hour of meditation videos you can listen to. So as you get better at calming your mind, you've got something to listen to, and they're going to be just countdowns. That's it. They're not going to be guided meditations, because I find as a very anxious person, guided meditations can sometimes lead me into that rabbit hole. Do you know what I mean? So all it is going to be a very simple, calming, almost inaudible countdown. So once you've done this for a week or two, whatever you want, this is your healing. You're gonna write down in your journal these things. What do you notice? Has anything changed about how you manage your thoughts? Okay? You can press pause. Number 11, it is worry time. What you're gonna need is a stopwatch and your daily scheduler or smartphone calendar. This is going to demonstrate how worry is an avoidant strategy we use to disconnect from our uncomfortable feelings. Very true. As long as we are in our heads worrying, we are not sitting in the present with our feelings. This is so true. Listen up. Worry is simply an illusion of control. It tricks us into thinking we are problem solving. We are not, okay? Let me just tell you that when you worry, you are not problem solving at all. When we really are just sitting in our heads on a couch having done absolutely nothing for 20 minutes, while it appears to be an effective form of problem solving at first, it is an ineffective and inefficient way of strategy that ultimately worsens anxiety as well as sleep, concentration, and attention. You're going to need a stopwatch, your daily scheduler or smartphone calendar, okay? catch yourself worrying throughout the day, use your diffusion strategies from the prior exercises to separate from your worries. Place your worries on a mental bookshelf for later reading, or write them down and put them away. Remember what I said? It does work. This will also help you remain more present, focused during your day. Next, you're going to choose a specific time in your day to be your 2-minute designated worry time. Try to make it approximately the same time every day for consistency. Usually your downtime, because that's when your worry thoughts, will start. It is helpful to block off your worry time in your calendar or smartphone as a daily activity. During worry time, you will return to your mental bookshelf or your paper, and you're going to read all the books you placed there throughout your day. What were some of your most memorable worry books? You may put, let's write this down, your kids going to school on the school bus, your spouse driving home, I don't know, whatever you worry about. What did you notice during your worry time? 2 minutes only, by the way. What did you notice? Did you notice that you had a hard time figuring out what it was you needed to worry about? That's why I like the paper. That way you can remember all the things you need to worry about, right? Did you find that your mind was overly exhausted? Did you find that you really didn't need to worry about that? Did you think this is kind of silly? I don't know. Did you find it helpful? It is likely that you forgot several of your worries from the day. Many of the ones you did remember never came to fruition, and those that did no longer seemed as significant. Exactly. Just like when you write it down, this is what happens. You're like, it's past, right? Especially if you keep that paper. There is no need to worry at all. 99% of the time, that's what I noticed. I find that you either, if you don't keep a worry pad, or if you just do it once, like when you go to meditate. So it's not like you keep a worry pad all day, by the way. If you're gonna do it this way, and it's all the worries throughout the day, you will find you will forget 90. You will sit there like this. What the hell was I worrying about? What? Damn it! I only have 2 minutes. I had to figure out what I was gonna worry about. What in the world what was that email about? I'm telling you, it's crazy. It is literally crazy. Number 12. Pizza party. Well, you will need eight different colored pencils, markers, or pens. So when we worry, our brains start to get overloaded. But to conserve energy, they take shortcuts to make sense of the world. One example is dichotomous thinking, or all or nothing thinking, black or white thinking, right? This strategy is very useful in dangerous or threatening situations. So this is when you should use this, okay? In so you're able to make quick thinking decisions. But can you imagine always being in that fight or flight? In your mind, you're making your anxiety 1,000% worse. By being in that fight or flight, you're increasing your cortisol. You're increasing your stress hormones. This is why we gain weight. This is especially around our stomachs. Why we can't lose weight, because we are literally in fight or flight constantly. Your brain is a pizza. That's what I want you to imagine. The more stressors floating in your brain, the more slices are taken up. When this happens, you're left with only a slice or two to take in, understand, and process any other incoming information. Okay, think about that. You're sitting at the dinner table and you have a 12 slice pizza as a brain. But 10 of those slices are completely full of worry that is unnecessary, right? Only 2 slices of your brain, and I'm using this because I think it's a great analogy, are available to listen to your children's day, to process important things with your husband or wife or a significant other are saying, to give them attention, to remember what is important to them, to listen and absorb the things they need you to remember, things that are important to them. See what I'm saying? So, as you can imagine, not only does this increase anxiety, but it leads to forgetfulness and difficulty concentrating. Since it isn't always possible to get rid of, forget, or ignore our stressors, what can we do with them? We prioritize them. List 8 of your most frequent worries in the spaces below. Okay, here's what I was saying. Worries could be from today, last week, or long-standing and chronic. Assign each of your worry a specific color. By placing a check mark next to it, only one color per worry, please. So 1 would be something about work, okay? A project at work, okay? That you did a month ago. Why would you even be thinking about that, right? But maybe something wasn't perfect about that. Something your boss said last week. A kid's something about your children. A kid's party gift you didn't think was adequate, or I'm trying to think about sorts of different things that people worry about. See, it's even hard to think about when you force yourself to think about what to worry. Well, my ceiling being fixed and my roof being replaced. There is nothing I can do to start that roof. I am not getting on the roof to start it. So my roof, that would be something that I would be worrying about. There's nothing I can do. If anything else happens to the inside, the insurance is going to fix it. And onward and so forth, okay? Worrying about a broken tooth that you have scheduled to fix next week. It's already fixed. fix right then and there. And if you can't, you just fix them. So using pizza, now this pizza is 8 slices. I said 12. I guess my brain is more slices, I don't know. But it's just easier to do 4 and 4. And we're using 8 colors, so you're going to shade in the portion of the pie that you feel each worry consumes using the color you choose for each. Use as many slices as you like for each worry, and as much or as little of a slice as you'd like. Slices do not need to be colored in full. For example, if your chronic back pain is causing you significant amount of worry, you should shade in 3/4 of a slice. If your pending exam deadline causes less worry than your chronic pain, you could shade in maybe just half a slice. No two worries can have identical amounts. Okay. Prioritizing worry helps us to see that none of our worries are 100% unbearable or catastrophic. Viewing worry in this way allows us to become more objective about its actual impact on our life. It's not as bad as it seems, I promise you. Okay? We perceive a worry as less all-consuming when we see it this way. We reduce all or nothing thinking and can attend to more valuable things in our lives. In other words, we free up our pizza slices for more enjoyable things, like what we're doing with our children right now, our spouse, our significant other, you know what I mean? If we are on vacation, if we are enjoying a bath, all these things. Let me tell you something. I say this all the time, and it is so true. You cannot ever get the past back. You can never, ever be promised tomorrow. The only thing you have is the present moment in your life. That is it. The other two, one's gone, one isn't promised. The only thing that's important is right this very second. If my mind was consumed with all these other things I had to do tonight, I couldn't sit here and make this video. It would be impossible. You only have right now. Any of us can be gone in a heartbeat. Last week, my boss lost his brother to an aneurysm. 30 years old. Standing in the kitchen talking to his family. Next thing he knew, he kind of didn't make sense. Fell over. Was gone. 30 years old. Healthy. Great job. Great life. But that's it. He's gone. Nothing anybody could do about it. They thought he was joking. These are things you cannot spend your life worrying about because you can't control them. But you can control right now. You can smile right now. You can enjoy the moment because that's all you have. This moment right now. That's it. So I want you to write down now, get out your journal. Was it difficult to formulate specific worries and transition them from your mind onto paper? Absolutely. You know why? For me, it was. I couldn't remember what the hell I was worried about and how much space it was running in my head. Like, was so much more important than your other worries. What worry just filled up almost all of that piece of pizza? Or didn't that happen? Did you start filling out less and less of your pizza as you went along? Were there any worries that surprised you as far as how many slices they actually took up? So, now, you can't duplicate them, but you can, let's say your chronic back pain is 5 slices, okay? But it's always there. You know it's there. You know why it's there, right? If you've had it for a long time, if you pulled your back out, that's different. But if you filled it with that many slices of pizza, because you can have more than one slice, I guess, is what they're saying. I wouldn't give worry more than one slice. But if you have to, and you feel like this is the end all be all, then give it all the slices if you want. Are you surprised that you think about it that much? Being as it is a chronic pain, maybe the less you worried about it, the less you feel it. That's how it is with my hand. Did you have any slices or portions remaining? Well, good Lord, I hope so. If yes, just a few enjoyable things you would want to do now that you have more cognitive and emotional resources at your disposal. So yes, I'd like to go skiing in Chile next year, skiing in Japan, Christmas, my daughter's 16th birthday, and I'd like to go to the caves in West Virginia this summer. And you can always pause. How can changing the way you perceive your worries help you improve your overall mental wellness? What does that mean? So, how can changing the way you perceive your worries help your overall wellness? What did I just say? Maybe as much as you worry about your chronic back pain, but it's been there forever, you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to give it that much attention or power, right? Because it's always there. My hand is always gonna hurt. What am I gonna do about it? If you've had back surgery, if it can't be fixed by surgery, maybe you need to stretch more, I don't know. But literally, I want you to think about how changing your perception of your worries helps you improve your own mental health. Maybe you don't need to worry about that so much because when you write it down it seems silly, right? Or maybe once you've written it down, it's there and your mind doesn't have to keep track of it, right? Maybe just having a worry journal frees up your mind. That helps me a lot. If I'm worried about something, I write it down and I forget about it. Boom, because it's there. I know that it's almost like a to-do list. Oh, I gotta do that. Okay, when my tooth was, I had to get it fixed. I wrote it down. I got it, I have to do this, and this, almost like to get it fixed. I didn't have the money right away, so I wanted to make sure I asked these questions to the dentist, blah, 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 so it wouldn't get any worse. Yada, yada, yada. But once I wrote it down, I didn't even think about my tooth other than, not chewing on that side. This is very important. If I had a magic mirror or a ball that told me to do this 20 years ago, it would help me so much. There are things that I worried about that were so silly, that convoluted, that took up space in my mind, that prevented me from being a better person, from being a better daughter, from being a better business owner. You know what I mean? I can't force you to do anything. This is you. All I can do is tell you my experience, give you some tools. But if you don't use the tools, there really is nothing. If you are bound and determined to worry, that may, I would definitely see a psychiatrist. For one, I would see a psychiatrist if this is your main focus in life, all of your worries. I am not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor. I don't call myself a doctor. These are tools that I've personally used to help myself worry. I'm sharing them with you. But if you feel like you have a mental illness, if you feel like that you need additional help, please seek it out. These are just tools that even with medication, I'm on medication, that you use to help you. Because medication, let me just tell you something about medication, is only going to help you so much. It can help you help yourself, you know what I mean? There is no medication in this world that is it makes me perfect. Everything's gone. Whew. Actually, there is. Sometimes antidepressants can make you feel absolutely nothing. I don't want that either. Like, I was on this, I'm not going to mention it, but I was on this medication. Anything could have happened, and I felt nothing. It was terrible. I told my psychiatrist, I said, get me off of this. I don't know what this is, but it is not okay for my mind. Alright. I'm gonna stop there, and I'll tell you why. The next section is dealing with the scary stuff, and I want to really give that its own, it's pretty long. I want to give that its own video, because I think it's so important to take this step by step, especially if you're a warrior. So, this one was how to basically, these were exercises on how to deal with your worry in pieces, how to worry in a way that's forcing yourself to think about it and then not think about it. I think it's very important. So, going down the rabbit hole. force yourself how to separate and all that. This is a little bit different, so I want you to focus for the next week or two. Hopefully I'll get to this next one within a few days, because there wasn't a lot of information, just enough. Like, this is so important to practice, especially your own worst enemy, the purple flower, like that, going down the rabbit hole. These are all things we do all the time. And if you want to re-listen to this, I mean, like, it's worry time, pizza party, separating out, like, how important is each worry? So, like, we need to know, you need to know how important each worry is. It's crazy, right? So, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I am more than willing to answer them. If you find this helpful, also please let me know. If you want to subscribe. This is for you. This isn't to grow my channel. This is literally something that I feel very strongly about, and that